What's cracking, y'all? You are now watching Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today.
I wish ESPN would rid us of this spineless, brainless, victim mentality, gaslighting, sad excuse for a sports moderator, sometimes wannabe analyst, Molly Qerim. But that's besides the point. This amoeba found herself arguing against Stephen A. Smith on the topic of the war we find ourselves in, or in between, when it comes to past versus current eras in NBA basketball. Take a look.
You have cats that were predecessors that paved the way for you to be able to do what you do. I'm not talking basketball, Eminem and Doggy. I'm talking off the court. I'm talking the collective bargaining negotiations. I'm talking arguing with the league. I'm talking fending off the media when it wasn't podcast and everybody couldn't have a voice, and a level of scrutiny that you had to maneuver through in order to get to the point that these guys ultimately got to, where you're getting paid generational wealth. Then you got your money, and it's like, yeah, we it. And hell with all of these guys. They want to celebrate we ain't down with that. A lot of the guys, the old school guys, do feel disrespected by the modern day player. Chandler Parsons said this when he was talking about Giannis's game, and he took the quotes from Draymond and all of a sudden and elaborated a little bit more extensively. He talked about, do I think it could possibly make a run at Wilt's record or have over 100? He was talking about Giannis. I think they would arrest him if they saw Giannis in the 70s and did what he did against those guys. It's a whole different level of athleticism, resources, medical advances, etc. Those players think about those things, the old school guys. Mm-hmm. They think about the advantages that these guys have, something as simple as travel. Mm-hmm. You understand how you could travel first class, how you could travel chartered jets, how you don't have to have a second job in order to make money. Or they think about all these things. And they're like, you have any idea what we went through to have to perform? And you just want to ignore all of that when it comes to us? Nah. And that's what I'm saying. So it's not that Draymond doesn't have a point. Is that he's leaving out where the disrespect emanates from and how, to some degree, it's instigated by some of the modern day players because they got their bag and there's an absence of deference and respect that they have for those who paved the way for them. That's just the way. I'm telling you what players said to me.
But that's not about basketball on the court.
Well, what happens, it is.
But Draymond's talking about they're disrespected as like players on the court. All these other factors that you're bringing up have nothing to do with playing on the court.
That is patently false.
Stephen A., and their play and their talent. Yes, maybe it's a little bit of an advantage, but why should they be disrespected for things that they can't even control?
Well, first of all, nobody should be disrespected. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is because of the conditions under which they're playing, which facilitates them being able to focus on their game, players who came before them that didn't have that luxury feel resentment towards them because of it. So the subject is not about basketball. The subject is about a lack of respect. In other words, you don't see guys saying they can't play. You see guys saying, please, if I had those conditions, this is what I would be. Yeah. That's what they're trying to say. And sometimes that's interpreted as disrespect because you're not taking all of those other things into consideration.
What if they had those conditions in the past? They wouldn't rise up and overcome them as well and be stars?
Well, we're talking about...
But I'm saying it should go both ways.
Okay, Molly. Okay, I tried.
Well, I don't know who Draymond is referring to because, LeBron is the one who brought up Giannis. He'd score 100 points a game. JJ sat with me forever and called the players that Kuzi played with plumbers and firemen and knocked them constantly about they didn't play against anybody. Qerim doesn't say anything. I haven't heard Bird say anything about today's younger player. I don't hear Jordan say anything. What older player in the 80s, I even usually forget the 60s. The 80s is knocking a guy today. I haven't heard anybody. No. What, they put microphones? Jerry West responded to what JJ said and got mad but he responded. Who responded this past week to what LeBron said about Giannis? I didn't hear one player from the 80s say, he didn't know what he was talking about. We would have knocked him down his rear end. He never would have gotten a layup. Because in those days, in the 80s, no layups.
I don't know why she can't get it through her thick skull and process this information. Why is it so difficult, Molly? I don't want to take too much time to speak my position on this that favors Stephen A. I've done it plenty of times on this channel. But I do want to say this. The controversy clearly stems from primarily current generation of players and the younger fans and trolls and some of the media. It does. They are constantly shitting on past generations, making low-light reels, calling them names, fireman, plumber, we've heard it 1,000 times, saying they can't dribble, saying they can't shoot the three ball, saying players would score average 90 points, 100 points, 200 points, 300 points if they played back then, whatever. Now, the players of past generations, or people that defend them, will often say, due to limitations and rules and science and equipment, they would have been able to do more in the current NBA because it's easier. It is no secret that stats are inflated today, and the NBA wanted to increase scoring and offense for consumers going back to the earliest mid-2000s. The NBA was not happy with the product with all the defense and physicality. Notice this was largely never an issue between the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 90s and the 2000s. The mutual respect and knowledge for the history was always there. When you disregard history and context, then you find yourself in denial like a lot of the current generation is now. Did you see her face when Mad Dog Russo was spitting nothing but facts? Why are you looking like that? What do you have to say? You looking at Mad Dog Russo like he's talking out his ass. What do you really have to say that's going to rebuttal with the straight facts? The straight facts. Calling out JJ Redick. Calling out LeBron James on the Giannis comments. And plus some. Now that I got that out the way, what I really want to talk about is this.
Down.
I just feel like we spend so much time, we spend so much time praising the past generation that we don't focus enough on the current generation. And I think it's hurting the NBA and the conversation. We don't do this in any other sport.
In fairness.
Wait, let me just finish. We don't do this in any other sport besides the NBA, and we do it on this show.
That's not true.
Constantly.
That's not true.
Yes, we
That
do.
is not
We
true.
celebrate the past and
I'm
not
talking
today.
about what you said.
Motherfucker, what are you talking about? Are you really going to sit up here and lie on national television about your network? Typical behavior. Why am I even surprised? Why? Why do I put myself through this? Why? First of all the American major sports, the NBA seems to be the main perpetrator of disrespecting past eras of their sport. Period. Please stop all of your damn lying. From the players to the fans to the analysts, the NBA stands alone on that hill. Furthermore, you're going to sit here and lie for ESPN, on ESPN coverage, and your show in particular. You guys do not celebrate the past constantly. Shut your ass up. You are the definition of pathetic. Molly, you want to know what you guys do constantly? The only thing you do constantly is celebrate LeBron James. That's the kind of celebration you guys do. You talk about him, you talk about the Lakers, and Curry and the Warriors to a lesser degree. You all will sit up on here, on air, for God knows how long, with 75% of the topics being LeBron related, especially when NFL season's over. Then I gotta come up on here and call it out and address the nonsense, and then I get called a hater. I would have half the LeBron content on my channel that I have now if it wasn't for you all, ESPN and major networks. I guess I'm the great equalizer, here to establish balance. Molly, you make me sick. You make me sick. The only time you idiots bring up past eras or that player as if someone breaks a record held by previously said player. Or if it's a MJ versus LeBron debate. And primarily with regard to the eras itself, y'all only bring that up when there is controversy surrounding it by comparison, like now. Then you guys all of a sudden want to bring the only guy on the show that gives a damn and actually celebrates past eras, Mad Dog Russo, because he's the only guy that has any knowledge and can speak intelligently on NBA basketball from the 60s to the 80s. 90% of the time, that is the only reason Mad Dog Russo gets pinned to the debate desk. So stop all your goddamn lying. These networks really do make me sick. Them and all their little minions. And I can't do shit about it. Little old Boo TV. But that don't mean I'm gonna shut my ass up. I'm not gonna shut up about it. Y'all know that. Even if I didn't have an audience, I would yell it into the abyss of the nothingness void. I really would. But for the audience that is here, thank you for your support. As always, y'all know. I love y'all, man. Love y'all. Y'all hit that like button. Comment. Help the algorithm push the truth out. Because not many people out here are. That's all I gotta say about it. We out, baby.